Recently, James Toney had some comments about Floyd Mayweather's defense, talking about how, he snapped back prematurely, in his opinion, and keep his shoulder up and try and space himself away. Remember, James Toney's an infighter, and Floyd Mayweather, on the other hand, is an outboxer, mostly a mid-range fighter. But they have similarities. Look at James Toney here: roll the punch, come back with a punch against Samuel Peter, and then land some body shots. But James Toney's not just that, of course. Floyd Mayweather here rolling Migakoto shot. Now, James Toney is a fighter that mostly fights on the inside, so his defense is specialized for infighting. As you can see here, he parries a punch and then counters right over it, and you can see him slipping punches, like he slips to the outside here of Iron Barkley's punch and then cracks him with a lead right, like a pull counter. This reminds us a lot of Jersey Joe Walcott. Here he feints twice to get Joe Louis to bite the bait, and then he slips outside of the punch and comes back with an overhand right. Boom. Pull counter. Of course, James Toney does the same thing here. This time he baits, though, by using a jab to bait John Ruiz into throwing his jab, which leads to him countering him, right? Floyd, he slips to the inside of Shane Mosley's punch, and then he counters him, pull counter. Here, Floyd, he's going to snap back away from Canelo's jab, then he's going to slip Canelo's right hand, then he's going to slip Canelo's left hook, and he's going to pivot around Canelo and snap back away from Canelo's right hook before he starts countering Canelo there. Okay, it's kind of advanced stuff. But Mayweather basically uses that shoulder roll, and you can actually hit him on his shoulder. Whereas James Toney doesn't use the roll as much, and he more slips punches and gets out the way of punches, whether it's dips, slips. Here is Mayweather using expert rolling on both sides. He's rolling with both sides, both shoulders. Here, Mayweather's in close against Canelo. Look at Canelo. Tried to catch him with an overhand right. Mayweather rolls it and then comes back with a punch. James Toney does the same thing. This is a little bit further out. Now, see Mayweather keeping that shoulder elevated. It seems as though his body is exposed, but it is not actually, because his elbow is still in the way. And you see him do the same thing like James Toney, dip under punches when he wants to fight on the inside. Very versatile. Now, boxers like Anthony Yarde, Adrian Broner, and Andre Berto, they try to use the shoulder roll, but they don't have the shoulder lined up in the right direction, so they get caught flush with punches. See, you'll see it again here where Anthony Yarde, he gets cracked right there, because again, his shoulder's not in the way of the punch. And here, Bernard Hopkins, he doesn't realize he's not lined up, and he gets caught. The reason is because he's too close to Sergey Kovalev, and so he gets caught. And even when he's reacting here in his response to get the shoulder in the way, it's too late. James Toney, an expert of infighting, stepped around his opponent, as you see him stepping around his opponent here. However, Mayweather tends to fight more on the outside, so you can see him stepping around his opponent on the outside here. In short, James Toney's shoulder roll is adapted for inside defense, whereas Mayweather's shoulder roll is adapted for outside or mid-range defense mostly, and that is why they are as they are.